Simon, thank you for your time today. It's great to talk to you again. Just for the audience's purpose, could you please provide a quick introduction about your background and any current roles or projects that you're working on?
Yes. Hey, Joe. Thanks for having me, first of all. And yeah, absolutely. So my name is Simon. I've been working as a front-end developer commercially for over 15 years in UK. Overall, I've been interested in web development for over 20 years now. So my career, I was lucky enough to work for big companies like Shell, Virgin, Haycar, etc. And my career has been quite spontaneous when it comes to working for big companies. But yeah, over time, after a few years for working for big companies, I've decided to move towards my own businesses and my own adventures. Yeah,
Yeah.
here I am.
And so last time we spoke, you was telling me about a couple of the projects that you're currently working on. Um, would you like to share with everyone the most recent developments or, product release that you have?
Sure. So since I finished my contract with Haycar, I decided to focus on one of the SaaS platforms that I've been building, which is, well, it's funny enough because it's a platform where the the users can use AI powered tools like image generation, video generation, etc. But that whole project has been built with the use of AI agent as well.
Hmm.
And I've been using vibe coding just to upskill myself, see what it's like, and see where the limitations are, just to see if I can build the entire product end to end and see how accurate, how clever, how perfect or imperfect the vibe coding is.
Hmm.
So it took me, well, it was actually crazy to see how the AI builds entire features or how it changes the design across all the pages within minutes. So yeah, that was absolutely astonishing to see how it evolved and how powerful it is when you just basically prompt the AI to build something for you, and then the output gives you the entire feature within a few minutes, which is actually not bad. And that's probably the key point.
Hmm.
Obviously, as a senior developer, you kind of have to go through those changes and see if everything is developed the way you would like it to be, and if the AI hasn't missed any crucial points or crucial things that you would like to have in your application. I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked to see how good it is. And obviously that gives you a solid base to work on, even if you wanted to kind of develop that idea further.
Hmm.
So that is still one of the projects that I've been working on. I think it got to the point where I'm quite happy with the output, and I'm going to have a meeting with the investors next week to get the first round of financing for it, and then obviously we'll get some money to develop the idea, to develop the platform, and kind of push it forward. Potentially hire other people to help me out with it. But yeah, I mean, to have AI building something for you within minutes and you watching that AI agent building something that might even work and might be a successful business is absolutely crazy right now. And then so that's one idea that I've been working on for a few months now. And then the second business that I've been moving towards to is slightly different. It's an e-commerce shop with my own teeth whitening product. I went to Bali earlier on this year, and I had that idea where I was like, okay, I think I got to the point of my career and my life where I want to have my own products and I want to develop everything kind of myself. I want to go through those processes just to see what it's like to have an idea and be able to make that idea happen from, let's say, the drawing board through development and to production and actually to deliver it to the customer. So I had the first pre-order sale last week, which was
Nice.
absolutely amazing. And yeah, and that was crazy. That basically validated the idea. That basically made me feel for the first time that the idea was good and it works, and everything I've done down the line actually paid off. Even though obviously I'm spending some money on the ads and everything else, making that first sale is obviously always the great point, and it's always a good sort of strategic moment, or basically the moment when you create a business and it validates something that you've been waiting to see for months.
Yeah.
So yeah, so from basically from having that idea back in March, it took me a few months to get it all done and dusted. And I had to first do the research on finding the right manufacturers and to be able to make it the way I want it to be. So my idea was that I wanted the products to be 100% natural, be absolutely safe, and have very simple formula. So I didn't want to add any chemicals to it, any different ingredients that would make it not safe enough for humans.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it was quite a challenge to get it all kind of done and dusted, and to be able to reach out to different companies and obviously hear different offers and compare them all, and then to be able to design your own labels and your own containers for the product and everything else. It was quite a challenge. Obviously, everything had to be, well, not cheap enough, but obviously it had to be cost effective,
Yeah.
right? So be I had to be quite conscious of what exactly I'm going to use. And at the beginning of such a journey, obviously you are quite limited because you cannot have certain options that bigger companies would have when they order 50 thousands of those products or 100 thousands of those products. So I had only limited options for the containers and for the labels and everything. So I had to be quite careful how I design everything. And that's that's why it took me a few months to nail the design, and then to order the samples and to test the samples and see how the samples are in real life and how they work, and if that's exactly what I want it to be. And I got to the point where I was absolutely happy. I've ordered the first lot of the products, and I put a pre-order sort of sale on my e-commerce shop, and I made that first sale last week. So that was absolutely amazing. I didn't even have the real product to make the adverts or to use them in, in promotions or in the images on the website. So I had to go for the mockups, and I had to use AI to generate certain content for me to be able to show it to people, and so it doesn't look like it's, like it's fake or it's
Yeah.
digital. So that was also a challenge. And to make a pre-order sale without having a physical product stored yet, it was actually quite interesting to see that I could actually make that sale. Yeah, so that was definitely an interesting last few months for me. Obviously, completely different to last few years that I have spent in IT sector of the market. But yeah, it's been going well so far. Let's see
Yeah.
what the future brings.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah. So from like a really technical setting and then to transition into a more of like, digital marketing, product development, but with physical products, was that a big shift in mindset and
Uh,
day to day?
not really. To be honest, I would say it's been a relief. First of all, because I've got more flexibility on working hours, even though sometimes it might even take me, like, the working hours might be even longer than working for as a full-time employee for a client, let's say. When you work on your own projects or your own products, obviously you have to wear a few different hats, and you have to be able to understand all the processes from A to Z.
Yeah.
And obviously you have to spend so much more time on things to grow them,
Yeah.
only because you're on your own to begin with. If you don't have any financing, if you don't have money to hire people, obviously you have to do everything yourself. With the help of AI and with things like ChatGPT, etc., I think it's been the closest ever to be almost like a full man, like a one man army, and be able to work on so many things without spending millions on consultants, on outsourcing certain bits of your business to other people. So for me, I think because I've been a technical person for long enough, for me, it's a great change. Obviously, AI isn't for everybody. I don't think every single person knows exactly how to use it. And I think it obviously takes a bit of time to learn what it's capable of and how to use it effectively, so you can basically cut costs wherever you want and to use it for your own benefits. So for me, it's been a great change. And for me, it's been a great moment of my life and my career that I can use AI to either build the entire code base for me, build features, or I can use it for marketing purposes, or I can use it even for bouncing off the ideas off.
Mm.
So I think for me, it's been a great shift from a day-to-day sort of job to have my own products, because I can use that technical knowledge, that technical experience to actually work on something that I can control completely from A to Z. So for me, it's brilliant because I've got that sort of flexibility. I've got the sort of, well, also energy to focus on other things, because I can delegate the AI to do certain bits and pieces, and then I can also focus on learning other things or do other things that AI cannot do at the moment. So,
Yeah.
so I've been lucky enough to use it to my own sort of benefit, and I think that's great.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It was interesting when you said about teeth whitening products because I've used some before, but I just got mine from like a dentistry. I'm just round by mine, and I remember though seeing online. I think it was on This Morning, the UK show, and it was some products that were, it was just like a drop shipped teeth whitening product, and then all these people were like damaging their enamel because
Yeah.
the ingredient that was in it was, it just wasn't safe. So,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I was definitely going to, and I still want to avoid such situations. I
mm,
want it to be 100% natural and very simple.
mm,
So it actually helps rather than damages your teeth. And I think I've been using it myself, and I think it works pretty well. I'm very happy with the outcome, and I'm happy that the formula is so simple.
mm,
There is nothing hidden behind it. So I've got a bundle which has the teeth whitening powder, but it also has a natural bamboo toothbrush, and I attach it in that bundle for free for now. Obviously, I have to kind of get into the market, and I have to gain the trust, and I have to get some customers, so I have to do something to do so. But yeah, again, that toothbrush is 100% natural. It's a bamboo toothbrush, no plastic, nothing, and it's actually great. It's actually a really good toothbrush.
yeah.
So yeah, so I've been happy with that so far.
Well, that's great. Yeah, because it also reminds me. Do you follow James Smith? Have you heard of him before?
No, I haven't heard of. I have.
Oh, okay. So he's this guy. He's like a massive entrepreneur. He's done his own PT online coaching business. He lives in Australia, but then one of the biggest things that he does, and he's like a proper social media influencer, is for he outs any brand that does any sort of fake marketing or labels a product like it's got 100% this, 100% that, and then he will actually go and send their products to like labs to get testing. And because he's in the fitness world, he done it for a creatine brand or
Right.
multiple creatine brands, and it was about the gummies, the creatine gummies. And he was basically just kind of saying, like, if it's tastes too good, then it's definitely too good to be true. And
And there is sugar in it and everything. Yeah.
yeah, it was just so ballsy though because he's like putting his own reputation on the brand. And before he does these posts, he's always like, I've consulted with my lawyers and they say it's risky, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah, but that's great. I mean, you kind of have to have such people just to validate if the product is actually if it's actually what it is, Like if people have good marketing or good CMOs, then obviously they can sell anything, but the formula might not out or the ingredients might not actually be as good as they say.
Mm,
So that's why I want my ingredients to be very simple.
mm.
And that powder only has 3 or 4 ingredients. So
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah, that's great. And then, so you said that you use vibe coding. Was it Replit or Lovable? One of those platforms?
no, so I've been using an IDE which is called Windsurf, and Windsurf connects to whatever AI model you wanted to connect it to.
Mm,
And I've been using Claude 3.7 at the time to vibe code, which is I think the best or was the best option at the time for development. And
mm,
I think it's actually great as long as you know what prompts you have to use, as long as you know how to explain to the AI what exactly you want to build, and as long as you kind of review the changes as the AI goes along. So, for example, when you type a prompt and then it generates certain files or certain changes across your code base, I think it's a good practice to review those changes
mm,
after each prompt, just so you control what exactly goes into the code base and what changes it makes. Otherwise, when you end up having 30, 40, 50 files modified by AI, it's kind of easy to miss what has been changed. So I think it's good to review those changes and obviously always question if the AI was right, if there is anything else that has to be done. So, lucky enough for me, I've been a developer for long enough to actually understand the processes even outside of the repo. And I do understand what is required to make the entire application or a website fully either tested or fully secure, etc. So for me, even though I tell the AI to build a feature, I always think about the security or the
mm.
database and how you would kind of migrate those changes from one place to another. So it's not only, I mean, you probably cannot rely only on the AI to build the entire application if you are not a technical person
Mm.
with enough experience. So I still believe that someone has to kind of review the changes and to be on top of the architecture to be sure that the application works with the database and everything behind the scenes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I actually spoke to you mentioned data security. I actually spoke to someone called Phil the other day and he's also a software developer. And we were just talking about what's recently happened in like the UK and this year with that cyber group called Scattered Spider and how they've been able to completely halt operations in M&S, I think it was Tesco's, was it? And then also Jaguar Land Rover recently. And like those companies, they've probably got a massive, cybersecurity team, or you'd hope they do. And even those companies that are, millions and millions each day. And it just shows you like there's a massive emphasis now about you've got to make sure you've got systems in place and security in place because it could completely jeopardize the whole business. So with these vibe coding platforms, and especially it's good that you've got that technical background, but someone who's non-technical and thinks they can just launch it, as soon as they've got over like 100 or 1,000 users, they could easily be an easy target, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I used to work with a guy who always said that no matter how much money you put into security or how well you think your security is, there is always someone that will find a way to break it. And it's just a matter of time and or money. Yeah. So even though the companies spend millions on security, there is always another way. There is always another day when someone wakes up and kind of has an idea of doing something and it kind of works. So yeah, it's you
Yeah.
know it's basically it's coding. It's all kind of all of those systems that we have online, they are very vulnerable, and with so many third party integrations or with so many microservices in between, there
Mm,
is always a way to find a hole. There is always a way to find something in the system that doesn't quite work or has a vulnerability. So yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult. And yeah, and I don't think AI will solve this issue anytime soon, because if the AI can find a way to secure your system, another AI can find a way to break in.
mm, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, you would think anyway with some of because there's going to be so many non-technical people using these platforms like Lovable and Replit, that'll just probably have to be a feature requirement for them, to prevent churn rates from their users. Because if everyone who's doesn't have that background, they need to put, something in place to make sure that they've got, a cyber security agent that can, be attached and, does a sort of routine assessments of each platform.
Yeah, so there are, when I worked for big companies like Clearbank, for example. Clearbank was a clearing bank startup,
Mm,
the first clearing bank in 100 years in UK that was just being built. They were hiring a team of so-called white hackers, and white hackers are the hackers that actually work for companies to make sure that the security risks are reduced to minimum. So they would basically try and email even internal workers and try email phishing just to see if the internal workers are aware of the risks with the email phishing and so on and so forth. So yeah, I mean, for such big companies, it's potentially quite easy to hire those white hackers, but for people that use AI to build platforms,
mm,
might not be so easy. And obviously, it's going to work until something goes wrong, until either there is a massive data leak or whatever else, and then the trust in that company goes down drastically. But yeah, I mean, this is what it is. Obviously, when the internet was evolving and when it came out, nobody knew what cyber security or cyber attacks were. So we kind of as we go, and I think even with the AI, I think we will get to the point where we adapt and kind of tune it in to make sure that it works.
yeah, definitely. So, when will you do the public launch of Amnesty? Is that how you pronounce?
Yes, I don't know. That's a good question. To be honest, it all depends on the talks with the investors and
Mm,
and what we decide. So if I get a round of financing and kind of make a deal on how long I need to build it to have the MVP ready and be able to kind of go to launch it, to go to the market with, then I'll decide what date is that
yeah,
going to be. So at the moment I don't know. I would rather want to spend another at least 6 months kind of making sure it's scalable, it works with a larger volume of users, and yeah, and it actually works. I want it to be useful. I want it to be basically easy enough for people to use, but also cheap enough. I don't want it to be another AI powered SaaS platform which is only out there to make money or to be clickbait sort of thing. I want it to be actually useful, and I want it to be quite powerful so it integrates with different AI models.
Mm,
So when there is a new AI model, I want it to be kind of integratable with. So I want this platform to be quite compatible with different AI models, but
okay.
also easy enough for people to use as well. And yeah, we'll see how it goes.
And for that, just because obviously I'm non-technical, I like to learn, but I don't have the technical background as you. So when it's about compatibility, is that about the different like API
Yeah.
integrations? And what's the process for that? Is it really hard to normally to connect one API to another, or is it just dependent on the platform?
Yeah, it depends on the platform. Luckily, with AI at the moment, the APIs are quite fresh.
Mm,
So when you try to work with the AI model, their APIs and their documentation is quite fresh. It's like almost brand new. So it's easy to integrate your platform with it, and it's easy to follow what you want to get out of it. Obviously, with different data sources that you have to work sometimes, and their APIs are outdated, it's very difficult to integrate with. So luckily, the AI models are quite easy to work with. Their APIs are quite simple because you don't really have that many parameters that you have to pass on to the AI API to get the response. So it's quite easy to work out a system around it. The layer in between, let's say my application and third party AI models wouldn't be that complex, I wouldn't say. So
mm,
I want it to be as simple as possible, obviously.
yeah,
When it comes to image generation, there are not that many parameters that you have to pass on. It's either the number of images that you want to output, obviously the prompt, the negative prompt, and maybe the style that you want to add on top of everything. And that's pretty much it, you know? Like I don't think there is that much complexity in between, which which is good.
yeah.
Obviously, less complexity, the less complexity, the better.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. And you also said about investors. Did you approach, and was it venture capital firms, or is this just people that you know personally?
I haven't approached them yet. I haven't approached anybody yet. It was one guy on LinkedIn who approached me, and I haven't spoken to them since, as we've got the meeting scheduled for next week. It kind of got me thinking that it's maybe the right thing to do at the moment. And it made me thinking that maybe this is what I should be doing next. Maybe I should be actually going online and searching for such companies to
Mm,
kind of get the best deal. I've been attending to different sort of meetups and conferences in the past, such as Web Summit in Portugal. So those conferences always have loads of stands, and those stands are for startup companies that try to sell their products, and they kind of try to approach people and validate their idea before another round of financing, let's say.
mm,
And since then I've been kind of thinking how I would approach such a situation. I don't think I would want to go to conferences and kind of have a stand and kind of try to sell my platform from there, because I don't think I would actually get to the right people, to the right audience. I
yeah,
think I kind of want to rely on the power of internet and the power of online marketing, to see how far I can reach.
yeah,
So I think for me, financing is kind of just the beginning of the journey, really, because even though you get the financing, you kind of have to have the plan, and you kind of have to think of how you will spend that money and
yeah,
how you will actually get to the point where you want to be. Yeah. Um, getting that money is one thing, but also spending it and kind of taking the business to another level is another thing. And
mm,
obviously, for the first whatever the deal is going to be. But let's say for the first year, it's going to be, I don't think I would actually gonna, you know, earn that much money from my own company. Even though I get financing, I don't think I would actually earn that much money from my own company for the first, I don't know, year, 2 years maybe.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Well, it's also about like reinvestments and,
that's right. Yeah, correct.
oh,
So
well, yeah.
yeah, exactly. So obviously, I don't want to build that company just to get a salary from financing or anything. I try to build that product to make sure that it's actually useful and it works out. Obviously, the processes alongside the journey, let's say, also something different to what I'm used to, because right now I'm going to be a business owner, right? And as a business owner, I have to focus on different challenges and different aspects of the business. Whereas when I was a developer working for a company, even though I was a part, or even though I was kind of making decisions on certain systems or certain features, it wasn't really the full spectrum of working on a business. So I think for me, it's slightly, this is where the shift is. For me, I have to focus on different things, but what I'm trying to do is to use as much technical knowledge and experience and as much technology in general to help me out with those challenges that I'm going to face.
Mm.
So I want to focus on building businesses, but with use of technology and with use of my experience and knowledge.
Yeah. Have you looked at affiliate marketing as a distribution channel at all?
Yes, they have. I don't think I'm at the stage of implementing it yet.
Yeah.
I still feel like I kind of have to build the MVP, the minimum valuable product first, and then to be able to validate it against real users, real customers, hear their feedback, and implement changes accordingly, if there are any, obviously. And then um, obviously the next stage is going to be to take it to the larger audience and then to kind of promote it to people that might be interested at such a thing. And I think at that point I might be kind of exploring different marketing options and different sale channels,
Mm.
but I don't think I'm quite there yet. I still feel like I need to work on the code base, work on the product, make sure it actually works perfectly.
Yeah.
As obviously people will pay money for it and will pay money for subscriptions and for the usage. And so I wanted to be, perfect enough to charge money for. And then the next stage is going to be to take it to a different sale channels and promote it and kind of work on the marketing strategies
Yeah.
and do different things to get to the larger audience. But for now, I think it's the product that I want to focus on.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure as well, once you get started within like the first like 6 to 12 months, you'll have different like niches of audience, like of an audience base. And of those consumers, some might be from a completely different industry and also be a creator, and their like product requests, for features, for new features, I'm sure it'll be entirely different, and it'll probably lead to like your next tier of subscription to the service.
That's right. I'm actually quite curious what people might require from the platform,
Mm.
because that's one of the, maybe not fears, but that's one of the challenges that I'm most likely going to face, because I'm pretty sure that the features are going to be, as you said, completely different. And then I will have to decide which one is more important. And I think that's going to be difficult. Obviously, you want the features to be suitable for all clients or customers. But again, at some point, the customers also validate your product and they also dictate what you might or might not want to do.
Mm.
Uh, so that's gonna be interesting. I think. I was thinking about having some sort of a board where people could actually put on their ideas and other users would vote up or down on those ideas. So it's very difficult. I mean, to get I think we discussed it last time we talked. It's very difficult to get customers' feedback
Mm,
because people don't want to feedback you if they don't get anything, if they don't get anything in return. So I was trying to get reviews on my teeth whitening products, and it was also difficult, like
yeah,
you kind of have to give a discount, or you kind of have to make sure that they get something out of it to actually get that feedback. When I was trying to validate one of my business ideas in the past, I created a poll and I put it on LinkedIn, and I asked people to actually go through the poll and give me the answers of the questions I had, and nobody did. Like, I've got over 1,500 of connections on LinkedIn, and nobody actually went through that poll and gave me the answers. So that was frustrating, and that made me realize that it's so difficult to get people's feedback in general. Obviously, you can get feedback from your close circle or from your relatives, but that's not really the feedback you are trying to get, right? You want to get the real feedback from people from around the world, let's say. So yeah, so again, I was also thinking about how I would get that feedback from people, from the users that would use my products, and also how I would kind of make sure that the features that I'm going to build, or the features I plan to build, are actually the features that people want.
yeah,
So therefore, having that sort of vote up, vote down system, I think it's kind of closer to be able to see what is really needed. Because if you have all the ideas written in one place and then other users be able to vote up or down for those ideas, you can see clearly what exactly they are voting up for.
yeah,
And if there is something that has 50 or 100 votes up, then there is something that you might consider putting up on your roadmap to build.
mm,
And I think that's, yeah, having a business or having your own product, it's when you think about websites, and when you look at the websites, it's like it's all you see that it's already built, but there are so many processes behind the scenes that nobody talk about and nobody expose really, because you never know what the roadmap is for certain websites or for all the websites. You don't know what the company is planning to build next. So yeah, so I would like to be quite transparent. I would like to be quite
yeah,
kind of predictable when it comes to building new features, and I would like to have such a system in place where the users would write down and vote for whatever ideas they have. And I
yeah,
think that that's quite transparent, first of all, but it's also fair on the customers as well.
yeah, definitely. It made me think about, I can't remember, I think I might have been Google's Gemini that I was using recently, or some other generative app. And
Yep.
in the user experience, what they've done, I think it was them. Anyway, so in the user experience, it'll be like after the third or fourth time you use the prompts or go through the workflow, a screen will pop up, and then it'll be like a customer feedback screen. So that's how they do it. They make it more like seamless within the experience. So instead of going to, click on another link to a different page and filling out on a different platform, it's just like once you've finished that prompt or that input, then after you receive the output, then it'll just pop up with a screen, and it'll have like a little bit of feedback that you can, just provide.
Now the question is, do you like this user experience or not?
Well, for me it was okay because I'm quite easygoing, so it's like, does I get it, so I understand what they're trying to do.
Yeah, so you see, obviously websites, applications, different products, they do whatever they can to hear your feedback, to get whatever output they want to get. But sometimes it's kind of against the real user experience, or it kind of sacrifices user experience, or it sacrifices development experience, or whatever. So it's very difficult to get that balance between everything. Obviously, back in the days when you would build the website would be a total wild west. You would have total freedom of how you want it to be and how it's built. Nowadays, you have to consider search engine optimization just so it displays in search engines like Google or Bing or whatever it is. And then you kind of get to the point, and obviously you have to think about ads, marketing, everything in between, user experience, blah, blah. So at some point you realize that you no longer build websites for people, but you also build websites for robots. And it's very frustrating, obviously, because you kind of have to follow certain rules that make your website or your application visible to search engines, visible to robots. But at the same time, you kind of have to make sure that it's still pretty enough for humans. And then again, you kind of have to find that balance. You kind of have to make sure that the robots are satisfied with your content, but also the real humans, the customers. And again, getting that feedback, as you said, kind of forcing or enforcing the user to give their feedback at a certain point of the user journey might be an option. But again, does the user like it? Who knows? Like this is, yeah, it's interesting, and it's very difficult to find the silver bullet, and it's hard to get everything 100% correct.
Hmm.
That's why it's kind of interesting at the same time, but also it's my role to find a way to validate it somehow, or to find a way how I would ask my users, my customers, if that's something they like.
Yeah.
It's challenging and it's cool. I think there are enough technical possibilities to do so. And I don't believe that websites have to be kind of, with pop-ups and flashy with marketing, adverts, etc. to kind of keep your business afloat. I still believe that it's possible to build good websites or good applications that kind of validate the idea, make the business work and keep the business afloat without absolutely killing it with marketing features all around the place.
Yeah. Definitely. Well, thanks for your time today, Simon. And just before we wrap up, you didn't mention the name of the teeth whitening product. If someone wanted to buy it, where would they find that?
Oh yeah, it's Pure White Lume, and it's purewhitelume.com. That's the website.
Nice.
We might probably put it in a description somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Just send me that after, and I'll put it all in the description.
Yeah, I'm still in the process of kind of expanding it to all EU markets, but I think it's going well, and it's going to be available across Europe for sure,
Yeah.
and probably next year across the globe.
Yeah, definitely. I think people are moving away now from really like full of ingredients. Everyone's quite, body conscious, and like there's a lot of like biohackers. There's a massive market and like movement for that now.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I'm one of those people, and I wanted to have such a product kind of built even for myself. That definitely solves one of the problems, and it definitely solves it for me. So I believe it's gonna be expanding,
Yeah,
hopefully.
definitely.
All right, thank you very much for having me, Joe, and I'll speak to you later.
Yeah, thank you.